Nation, today is Tuesday, the third day of December 2024. Our Knicks play basketball today. I hope you're all safe and healthy. I hope your family's safe and healthy, and that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders who every day are trying their best to save lives. Those also that pick up garbage, keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. Like yesterday, neighbors saved a 3-year-old boy in Florida from someone walking by trying to snatch the boy from the front yard. Blessings upon that neighbor and curses on that woman that tried to snatch him. That's what we're talking about. Blessings also on those that are trying to help victims of pornography and child pornography, prostitution, child prostitution, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses on all the perpetrators. Double curses on all those who profit from these things, and double curses on the perverts that drive the great demands for these industries. Finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 600,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, and veterans homeless in the United States of America, and millions around the world in similar or even worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There's going to be a basketball game tonight. Our Knicks play the Orlando Magic. Now, the Orlando Magic is the hottest team in the NBA over the last 10 games, going 9-1 in their last 10 without Paulo Banchero. Franz Wagner's playing his tail off. They've won 6 straight. Now, I have to say, their schedule's been a little softer than the Knicks, certainly. So it's not like they've been rolling over some major teams. But, hey, they play who's in front of them. They 9-1, 6 in a row, trying to get their 7th. The Knicks are 7-3 in their last 10, having won 2 in a row, and having had a hellified schedule, including a 5-game road trip against some tough teams. And they just got back from that and blew out New Orleans on Sunday at the Garden. So now, this is the thing. There is this cup situation. Now, with respect to the cup, the incentive is this. The winners, the team who wins the cup, each of the players on the team gets $500,000. Now, to a guy like a Jalen Brunson, even Josh Hart said, I'm going to go buy a watch. That's what they think of the $500,000. Because Jalen Brunson, he just signed an extension for $156 million on top of the $100 million that he signed when he first came to New York, $250 million. He ain't worried about $500,000. Neither is Josh Hart, who makes almost $20 million this year as well. But to guys like the rookies, to guys like Payne, to guys like Matt Ryan, yeah, they want this $500,000. In fact, somebody asked Matt Ryan, what would you do with the money? He said, put it in my hedge fund. That's about right. So, yeah, they need this. They want this $500,000. Even after taxes, $250,000, take that money. So that's the incentive for the players to win this cup. And so that is why you're going to see a lot of effort, from the Knicks in this regard. Speaking of that, did you see? Look, man, when I was growing up, when I was a little boy, one of the comedy acts that I liked to follow, that I looked at all the time when I was a kid, was Abbott and Costello. Okay, Abbott and Costello, and I ain't fronting. Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson, to me, are just as funny as Abbott and Costello. Did you see that stupid giant hat that Hart wore to the game Sunday, and then said it was JB size? And then when they interviewed, he said, never forget, you got a big head. That's all I'm going to say on this subject. They are crazy. Those two make me laugh, man. So, oh my gosh. So, anyway, very serious game tonight. The Knicks against the Magic. Now, the Knicks, I think, are still going to be without Precious Achiuwa. This is frustrating me, but I know I got to be patient because he got to come back when he's ready. Thibs said he's just about there. He's getting closer, is the word that Thibs used. He's getting closer to being back. And so that's good. That's good. So he should be back in a week or so, or less than a week or something. So I don't know if we'll see him tonight, but I'm looking forward to seeing him soon. I'll be happy when Precious Achua is activated and he's ready to make a season debut. Put it that way. But if we don't have him tonight, we're going to have our 8-man rotation. Really, it's a 7-man rotation with Sims getting 8 or 9 minutes. That's basically the way Thibs has been running this. It's Payne and Deuce plus the starting 5 with Sims getting, 8 or 9 minutes, not even rotation minutes, really. But that's what Thibs has been doing. That's probably what he's going to do today without Precious. And so that's the way it is. It is what it is. And so in that regard, like, again, Orlando's playing without Paulo Banchero, but 9-1 in their last 10 didn't seem to matter. They don't have Paulo Banchero because they're ready. Now, Gary Harris is out today. That don't mean much either. Paulo Banchero is out, and he might be back by Christmas, is what he himself said. But they still, they got to, they're going to have Suggs, Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter, who's, he's been hurt. He's back. Badadze has really been the surprise. Goga Badadze been the surprise because he's been playing very well at the 5 spot. Mo Wagner coming in behind him, always very good off the bench. Jonathan Isaac, very good. And then Tristan De Silva, I think he's a rookie. He's nice, and then Anthony Black, and then of course they still got Cole Anthony. Now they've moved Anthony Black ahead of Cole Anthony. Anthony Black in his second year at Arkansas, I believe. They moved him ahead of Cole Anthony. So they got a nice team. Then they still got some other. Jet Howard is pretty nice too. They said they got some nice young players. Corey Joseph is there and Levette. They got a nice squad, man. And so here they got plenty enough to beat the Knicks tonight. Put it that way. So the Knicks got to come to play. Again, very basic defense, especially perimeter defense, but they got to have defense. Rebounding. Now, Gato Grande and Sims did a tremendous job on Sunday. Between the two of them, 32 rebounds. Really, they got a game rebound, but Mikal Bridges is not a huge rebounder, and neither is OG Anunoby. But Josh Hart, Gato Grande, and Sims, they got to do their job on the boards, and they will. I'm pretty confident of that. And so that's the second thing. So defense, rebounding, keep the turnovers low. Now they had 17 turnovers on Sunday, but 4 of those turnovers in garbage time. 4 or 5 of them was in garbage time with the rookies and stuff playing. So you got to figure they had about 12 turnovers during the heat of the game, which is not bad, but they could do a little bit better. So they got to take care of the basketball. Usually the Knicks are very good. One of the leaders in the NBA in low turnovers. So they keep around their average about 11. I think that's their average. So if they can stay in their average of about 11 turnovers a game, I think they'll be in good shape. And so that's the thing. Defense, especially perimeter defense, rebounding, and turnovers. If they can keep those things in Thibodeau land, the way Thibs likes it, I think they'll be in good shape. Yeah, they're averaging almost 12 turnovers a game. That 17 outing didn't help, but they average about 12. They can get it back down to 11. They're averaging 43 rebounds, which is a little, it's okay. But, we're missing Mitchell Robinson and Precious Achua. So that we got to figure that's good compared. You're getting 8 from Josh Hart, 13 from Karl Anthony Towns as far as rebounding. You're getting 4 on average from Sims. But like I said, he had 13 on Sunday. If Sims can continue to do that, that will help a lot. So low turnovers, rebounding, and defense, that's really what's going to be the keys tonight. Again, with respect to the energy level, again, you never know on a given night what type of energy a team's going to have. You can kind of see it. Like, for example, last night I watched the Miami-Boston game. Miami was on the second night of a back-to-back. They were playing with Boston good until you could see the energy level left. The same New Orleans team that played the Knicks and got blown out on Sunday was all in against Atlanta and was leading and going back and forth. It was a seesaw game, and then they ran out of energy in the fourth quarter. So the second night of back-to-backs, for any team, is tough. It's tough. And so sometimes you can predict when this is second night of a back-to-back, it's going to be tough for the team playing that second night because of the energy level, which is why the Knicks, really, if we can get Precious and Mitch Rob back, that's going to help a lot. But tonight, the Knicks are in the second game of a homestand. which they came back to home cooking for the Sunday game. After being in Charlotte, flew back, probably was Saturday, was home, and then came in very refreshed and looking energetic on Sunday. So hopefully they had another day, to rest yesterday, and now they still at home, no travel, not living out of no suitcase. So I'm hoping they can come with pretty good energy. That's going to be key here. If they come with high energy today, then they'll be able to hang and beat Orlando. Now, Orlando, they're not coming off a back-to-back, but obviously they're on the road. The Magic are on the road. Let me see what's their schedule here. So they're in New York, obviously, tonight. They just came from beating Brooklyn twice. They see this is their 6-win winning streak. So they beat at LA. They beat the Lakers. That was a good win to begin the road trip. Then 2 days later, they win at home against Detroit. Then 2 days later, they win at Charlotte. And then they come back home on 2 days later and beat Chicago. Then they had 2 games, road games, not back to back, but the 29th, Friday and Sunday against Brooklyn. Okay, so they beat Brooklyn. So, I'm not trying to diss any of these teams, but I think you can understand this is not like the highest level of NBA competition they're playing right here. So they got 6 in a row, but, they beat those teams. And then, before they started, at the beginning of the road trip, actually, they did beat Phoenix in Phoenix, like the Knicks did. And then they lose to the Clippers at LA, and that was a back-to-back. And on the second night, but then that's a different type of back-to-back, right? So you're in LA, you're not leaving nowhere, you're still in LA. So they still, the second night back-to-back, they beat the Lakers. Still a good win, though. So now tonight, they're in New York, tomorrow, and Philly twice. Philly ain't jacked this year. Philly's a lottery team this year, really. So they got Philly twice. So tonight is probably their last tough game of the road trip. Okay, so they really haven't. But then once they go back home, they start Phoenix, OKC, Miami, Boston, Miami again, and then us again there on the 27th. So that's when their real schedule starts. Like I said, there's a lot of teams that's going to start out sprinting like rabbits, but they're going to come back to the pack, and Usain Bolt's going to shift gears and catch them. That's the Knicks, right? So that's what we're dealing with. So tonight, though, on TNT, I'll probably have the game on mute while I'm listening to my music, because I think Reggie Miller might be calling this game, God forbid. Or even just as bad as Stan Van Gundy. I can't stand either of them. But anyway, that's where we're at. So the Knicks are going to be in a dogfight tonight. We got to expect that. But the good thing is we're going to have 7 solid dudes with Sims. Call it 8. And 7 on rotation. They're all going to be ready. And then you got the energy. So defense, rebounding, controlling the ball. Okay, that's going to be important, those three things. And of course, as we know, we'd like to see them get out to a good start. We don't want them letting Orlando score 30 in the first quarter. That's the key thing here. Sometimes the Knicks don't score a lot in the first quarter. But to me, if you don't let the opponent get 30, the Knicks might get 30, they might get 24. That's cool. But I don't want to see Orlando getting 30 in the first quarter. That would represent a bad first quarter. So I want them to keep Orlando under 30 in the first quarter and then continue that energy going into the second quarter. If they can hit some shots too, that's good. So I think, this is going to be a dogfight, but the Knicks are up for it. Y'all enjoy the game. Be safe out there. We'll talk about it tomorrow. But sure.